Good morning. Good morning. Ah, no new shoes on the table. My shoes are here. So I have my bike fit tomorrow at 2:30, which I'm going to try and do a little bit of filming. I ordered some yesterday, but I wanted to get a couple of different shoes just to see how they fit, comfort. So I went for these, which are Shimano RC7s in a size 42. That is quite small. Yeah, my feet are like size 8, so tiny feet. Don't know how I don't fall over, especially in these, but yeah. So yeah, just had a quick try on carpet, so if I need to return them, they're not damaged in any way, shape or form. But yeah, these seem to be super comfortable. I'm not sure if my toe is hitting the end here, so I'm tempted to send for another pair for next day delivery. So I've got them for my bike fit tomorrow, so I can take advice on them. These are super comfy, super sock-like on my foot. I really like these. Also, I think the design's quite cool. I was going to go for a white pair in either shoe, but I think we might have had the best of the weather now. So black for what will be for commuting, and when I get outside in the winter, it's just going to show up a little bit less dirt. Yeah, that's the Shimano RC7. Super comfortable. The second pair I went for are the Physique Aria R3. I must admit, these are a better looking shoe. They fit me a lot nicer. I've got a lot more room across here. My toes can move a bit more. A better fit, as in sort of length wise. I think the RC7s are more snug and they keep my foot more secure, but these are a better fit length wise. As I said, my toes can move around in the front section a bit more. The only thing that worries me about these at the moment is there's a little bit of slip in the back. There's like a grippy pad inside the heel. You can't really see it, but yeah, my foot slips a tiny little bit. Your feet do swell when you exercise, so I'm going to take those with me tomorrow as well, just to get a bit of guidance on those too. The design is cool, really slick looking shoe. Again, was going to buy in white, but my bike's black. Some of my kit is darker. Usually wear grey bibs or of course black bibs. But yeah, really nice shoe. The fit's cool. They have a full carbon fibre sole, and these were £184 reduced overall from 260, I believe. So yeah, quite a bit of discount on these. The RC7 have, it says a carbon sole. These were £154. So I'm off to my bike fit, which is in Chelmsford at the Giant store. So short drive there now. Bike's in the back. Yeah, all packed, ready to go. I've got 3 pairs of shoes with me. I ordered the Shimanos in a size up. Had a quick try on of those and they feel much better. A little bit more length in the shoe. Really nice snug fit. So hopefully we'll have an idea of the perfect shoe that I need to start cycling in. But yeah.
I'll give it all when you need my love. You never call when you need my love. I'll give you anything you want. So say you love me, say you love me.
So it's been a few days since I had my bike fit. I went there I was a little bit uncomfortable on my bike, which you'll hear me mention the saddle a little bit in the video that I got before the bike fit, to sort of analyse where I'm at currently, if I'm in a bad position, cleat position, reach, saddle height, loads of different metrics. So I'll show you that video now.
Lovely, okay, and then leaving your hands where they are, Dario. If you now go into, you bend your elbows and go in as though you're getting a little bit more aero, but still looking up as though you're on the road. Yeah, lovely. And then now if you can go onto the drops, please. Yeah, smashing, and then go without hurting yourself. Go as aero as you can. Yeah,
I can feel the saddles tilted up when I'm in that position.
that's why. Right, lovely. Come back up, please.
So as you can see in the video, I mentioned a little bit of discomfort on the saddle. That was my main concern. I had a little bit of discomfort switching from what I go out on the road to what I use on the trainer in my knees, because I think I've always been playing on my saddle heights. So I really wanted to get that dialed in and for somebody to have a look at me properly on the bike. I'm not an expert, so I can't tell you exactly how you need to look at that video, my back position, how I'm sitting on the saddle. But the only thing I do know from my experience is that the saddle was digging in a little bit when I went aero. I felt like I was slightly too short on the reach for the bars. So my tendency was to put my hands on the closest bit of the bars rather than comfortably on the hoods. There was a little bit of pain in my right knee, which I told Nick. So yeah, I think the main points from the video before were saddle not quite right, maybe height or angle of it. Felt like I wasn't close enough to the hoods on the bars to sit comfortably all times, and especially to not ride on the drops, because I felt like they were just out of reach and not comfortable for me to get into, and to get my new shoes fitted. So that was the purpose that we're going for here. So yeah, I'll show you the second video and then I'll talk through what Nick adjusted for me. I'll show you that now and you can have a look and I'll talk through it after.
Okay, so hoods, and then keep your hands where they are, and then literally bend your elbows to get aero. Smash in, and then now onto the drops with your head up. Just push your hands a little bit further forward. That's it, lovely. And then go as aero as you can. Just push hard for 10 seconds. Lovely, and then back up, Darius, smash in. Try it with, now hold the top of the hoods where the bulbous part is, and yeah, that's it. And now get aero in that position. Yeah, lovely. Nice.
In the video you've just seen, I have done a 10-minute warm-up there, and when I say warm-up, it was pretty strenuous because we're in a shop with no breeze. They had to put the aircon on because it was quite warm in there. But yeah, no breeze, no fans, like even the little one that I've got on my turbo, no breeze whatsoever. It got warm, so, and then having a mask on, definitely, it was interesting. I felt like it limited my airflow quite a lot, but in the second video, I'm definitely warmed up, stretched out. As Nick said to me, your muscles lengthen out, you're totally relaxed. You're in a better position for him to gauge the fixed position on the bike. So what we adjusted, I think the main part for me was just a slight angle down on the nose of the saddle and also the reach. So I think I'll go through the reach first. We didn't change the stem on the bike because Nick advised not to do that, because when you bring a shorter stem into play, you also bring the bars towards you and that will make the bike more twitchy. Then the bikes are not designed to always have a shorter stem on them. So if it can be left as is, then that's probably the best way to go about it. Another adjustment that was made, that the hoods are slightly angled in more. So rather than my hands sitting dead straight on the bars, so my thumbs sat in a little bit more. So it took the pressure off the outer portion of my hand and run it through the middle a bit more. So although I wasn't experiencing discomfort or numbness in the hands, that was something that was going to counteract the changes that we would make to the angle and height of the saddle. So it was a lot nicer having my thumbs a little bit further in. It felt like I wasn't reaching out and stretching my forearms a little bit. But yeah, it's just a comfort thing. But so yeah, that was really cool. And another thing on the hoods on the bars was that Nick actually peeled back the plastic of the hood, and where the bracket attaches to the bar and they wrap the bar tape around it, in the factory, they wrap the bar tape over the start of the bracket. So what that does is it causes a little tiny bulge over the bar and over the bracket that goes onto the bar, and also but under the plastic hood. So it creates this little bulge and that can put pressure on your hand. So we peeled back, well I didn't, Nick did. We peeled back the hoods. Nick just nipped that bar tape back, didn't cut it, just rolled it back. And it creates a much flatter surface for you to rest your hands on the bars. That made a massive difference to the comfort in my hands. Not that I was experiencing discomfort, but a nice little tip that he had up his sleeve, so that was cool. Moving on to the saddle on my Giant TCR is super comfortable compared to my Specialized LA saddle. It feels like I'm sitting on something that way, if that makes sense, and I'm sitting on it like that, rather than sitting on something really thin. We discussed saddle widths and different saddles, but I was advised that if I'm comfortable on that saddle for now, then let's keep it that way. However, when I'm leaning forward and I'm getting more aero, the cutout in the saddle, the two edges on the cutout, which I'll put a photo of here and put some circles around them. So those areas circled will actually compress under your body weight. So if you put your thumb pressure on those bits of the saddle, they'll compress, and that's just your thumb. So imagine your sit bones putting pressure on those bits of the saddle and your pelvis leaning forward. It's actually compressing down quite hard and making two quite stiff edges for you to sit on, which is not great. But I think I'm gonna have a look at a new saddle in the future, or try a few different ones and see how I get on. But for now, the adjustments that we made to the saddle were, my saddle height was raised a little bit once we'd made adjustments to the front end. It wasn't by much, I think it was about 10 mil, so 1 centimeter up. And the saddle was, when I mean slightly, I mean ever so slightly nose down. We went a little bit further nose down, but that, I'm talking maybe 1 mil, 1 mil. I'm talking 10 mil, 15 mil, so 1 or 1.5 centimeters down, which is not a lot to the adjustments I was making on my bike before, trying to get comfortable. Slightly nose down, saddle higher, and it just took the pressure off the soft tissue a little bit. So in that second video, you can see I'm a little bit more comfortable getting aero. I feel like the drops are within reach now, so I can get down on those. I'm much more comfortable getting my head down, and on rides that I've been on since, I've been more comfortable and felt more powerful being a little bit further forward and having the bars in my reach. Just gives me a lot more confidence on the bike. So apart from those two things that are pretty huge, especially for somebody that never had a bike fit before, I don't even know what order I'd put these three things in. So the reach, the saddle, but also new shoes. These are my old shoes, which are Specialized Torch 1.0 road shoes. My first pair of shoes and an absolute revelation to cycling when I first got them. I bought them from a high street bike shop where the guy just fitted my cleat in a pretty neutral position. I haven't messed around with those over the past year very much at all. The more and more I've worn them, I've started to think they're a little bit too big for me. And when I got on the bike at the Bike Fit in the video before, well, I didn't get it on film, but as soon as I got on the bike, Nick knew that these were way too big for me. I could fit 2 fingers down the back of the shoe like that quite comfortably, which is, it's a no-no. No matter how much you crank the boa, which is this little fastening thing here, it's never gonna fill the shoe lengthways. So yeah, that was quite a big deal for me. And these have a plastic sole, which I don't know if it's carbon injected, because some are now. For the price point, I think these were £90 at the time. So I didn't know what carbon sole was. Well, I do know what carbon sole is, but I didn't know I needed it or it would help. So I wasn't looking for that when I was shopping for this pair of shoes. As a beginner pair of shoes, I still am a beginner, but as a beginner pair of shoes, I think they're pretty good value for money. So these and the pedals, I think were like 135 quid. Recently, I knew these were a little bit big. I was looking at new shoes because I knew they were the biggest upgrade, and that's where all the power goes. So you saw that I ordered a few pairs before, and I was going to order a size up in the Shimano's. So my new shoes are these, the Shimano RC7. I had to order the size up because the 42 was just a little bit too snug. The Physiques didn't give me the support that I needed really. When I tried them on, you can feel your foot being supported by these. The Physiques didn't really give me that, so I took the option to order these in a size up which came on the morning of my bike fit, which was pretty good. I took these to my bike fit to be fitted in these, and they are super comfortable. They fit like a glove. They're not too big at all. We're talking about bike shoes and the fit, and where my last pair you could get 2 fingers down the back comfortably, these I can get 1 at a squeeze, which apparently is how it's meant to be because your feet expand when you do exercise. I think I mentioned it earlier, but these have a full carbon sole, which was recommended to me before the bike fit. Didn't know I was looking for my first pair of shoes. Mentioned it before, these were £155, but the difference that these have made to my riding experience and just a feeling of like more power and more, I feel like I'm more connected to the bike. There's still a lot of float in these cleats because there's 3 different cleats. These ones offer the most float, which are yellow. I think there's blue and red that Shimano do, but yellow offers the most float, which means when your foot is clipped in, it can do this more, whereas the other colours, it keeps your foot a lot stiffer so your heel can't move. It's quite nice to have the freedom and it makes it easier to unclip. So when we were fitting these, Nick was looking at my knees and how my feet were in the pedals, and he told me that I'm putting quite a lot of pressure on the outside of my foot, which is why I was training quite hard on Zwift, getting a little bit of numbness in the outside of my feet. My feet were being pushed to the outer part of the shoe here, so that was causing some blood flow issues, hence a little bit of numbness. Not super uncomfortable, but something that he rectified quite well. So the cleat on these is now pushed in, so my foot is essentially coming further out away from the crank, which then takes the pressure off my foot like that, so the pressure's evened back to the centre, if that makes sense. Not great explaining foot mechanics, but it may do a big difference. Also, my decision for these shoes when trying them on in the shop, I took the Physiques and these. I have a medium slouch in my foot, so rather than my foot being tilted more this way, not the shoe, my foot inside the shoe, I'm just using it as an example. Rather than my foot being tilted more this way, I needed something quite level, and if anything, I needed to keep my knees in while I was cycling. So these shoes were a better fit for me rather than the Physiques. But yeah, overall, super happy with these. Been on some rides since, and they're very stiff. They've got a stiffness rating of 10. I don't know what my others are, but you can't flex these, whereas these, you can get a little bit of flex in them. Those other ones, you just cannot do it. So ever since I started being a little bit, it took me, no word of a lie, 2 or 3 months to learn to sit on a road bike saddle because I just could not get comfortable, very heavy, a lot of pressure on places that there's not been a lot of pressure on before. So ever since I was riding my LA on the road, I've looked into bike fitting. I've always wanted to get one. The mechanics of it fascinate me. And then the start of this year, when I was still riding my LA, I looked into getting bike fits. I inquired at the local Specialized shop, which has a retool bike fitting system. Then lockdown happened, all went a bit crazy. The bike crush happened. I got my hands on a new bike and was recommended to Nick at the Giant store in Chelmsford. I won't put his details on the screen, but if you want his details, I'm sure I'll be able to pass them on to you. Super nice guy. Getting the bike fit, I'm in no doubt that it's made me more comfortable on my bike. From a bike I was already comfortable on, straight out of the shop as it were, it's only made me more comfortable. I feel like my position is just a lot better. I'm not overstretching. The saddle I may tinker with in weeks or months to come, but I just want to get comfy on my bike as it is for now. Overall, I would definitely recommend one. The price was £80, which is quite amazing considering other local bike fits are about 150. Then they go from about 150 to 250, and then some of the more fancy places in London are anything from 250 to like 550 quid for a bike fit. So for 80 quid, that is mental money, and I'm not a pro athlete, I'm just someone who wants to be more comfortable on his bike. So they might have all these gadgets to like track your motion with cameras and stuff, but I know that I'm more comfortable on my bike, which is the reason I went for it. I would like to be more aero, but I need to worry about this more than I do getting tucked in at the moment. So maybe in the future I'll go for an all singing, all dancing one, but this was perfect, so it was amazing. In the last couple of days, I've probably done around 75 kilometers, split into 2 rides. The first ride I felt amazing, like energy wise. The second ride and the day after not so much because I went quite hard. But overall, the comfort levels it's like night and day from before. I can't really explain it. Apart from the things that I've spoken about, you just feel like everything's where it's meant to be. I don't feel like I'm overstretching. I don't feel like I'm sitting on like a hot poker. There's no discomfort in my knees. I feel like I've got a smoother pedal stroke. I don't know if you can see it in those videos. I feel like I can maintain the power better while monitoring it. I just feel like I'm smoother on the bike. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. That was at the Giant store in Chelmsford. And yeah, the person who did it, Nick, I can pass his details on if you want them, so let me know. That is going to round up my video for my bike fit. I hope everything was digestible for someone who doesn't know about bikes or someone who's just getting into bikes. If you've got any questions, let me know. I will do my best to answer them or break it down a bit more if I've sort of like rambled through those. But overall, bike fit was a success. New shoes were a success. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you would like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.